Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. Right here with Spears.
How y'all feel out there?
And Steinberg. What time is it? Game time.
It's Wednesday.
6:35 in the morning, crack the dawn and wipe the cold out my eyes. See who's this paging me and why. It's my nigga from the barbershop. Okay. You know who that was?
No.
Figgy. By the way, folks, on the plane ride over, I watched the documentary Notorious. Great documentary. If you're a hip-hop fan, if you're an East Coast nigga, if you're a Biggie baby, great fucking documentary, man. I just thought I'd do that in there.
I know, but when you did the Notorious,
Yeah.
Did you listen to Duran Duran when you were a kid too?
Yeah.
You did? Duran Duran?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, why you ask?
I just don't see you as a Duran Duran guy.
Come on, man. That's 80s, nigga. You know I'm the most versatile, well-rounded, non-racially motherfucker, man, when it comes to that type of shit. I stay on them crackers, nigga. I infiltrate their system by eating they fucking bland food, fucking they stringy-haired white women, and knowing they fucking music.
Oh, good.
That's how you know the enemy, nigga. You gotta know they shit to get to them.
Did I just smell another character?
No, not really. That was always the
Yeah, no, but
right
then,
into the camera, brother, the militant of the racially charged nigga, which I never really gave him a voice.
that's what I'm saying.
Right. But at some point, yeah.
His name is unknown because he's avoiding
hiding the fucking
from the authorities.
government.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother, this is unknown, brother. You don't worry about who the fuck I be. Just know I be watching them crackers, nigga. You know, they got Santa Claus. I'm like Santa Claus. I know when you sleeping. I know when you been bad or good. And I'm fucking coming down your chimney. I'm going to take your cookies and your milk. I might even take that white female milk. But I ain't leaving shit. No evidence, no prints. Who the fuck been in my house? The unknown. Okay. We're in St. Louis. St. Louis. East St. Louis.
We're in St. Louis, or we is in St. Louis?
We is in St. Louis. Andy and I went to the local around the corner newsstand store. We walked in and black lady, ghetto bitch, said, is you a comedian? I said, no, I is not. I started to be like, would I have been an asshole, guys, if I would have said, ma'am, it's are you a comedian? That's the proper way to say that, not is you. Would I have been an asshole if I would have been my mother and corrected her?
I don't know. She was just, she started off with such joyousness coming towards you.
And I fucking straight grinched it.
Yeah, you did. That's the only thing that I feel, I felt bad for that moment.
Right.
But I'm going to ask you this, though.
Yes.
Was it that she annoyed you because, were you angry or did you feel annoyed that that's your representation?
I be's angry because it was the reputation. Listen, man, I recognize that we as a people, black people, we have it hard enough in this country dealing with the things that we have to deal with, that sometimes we feel like we shouldn't get it from our own. But then again, why shouldn't we get it from our own? If the goal is to be better, if the goal is to evolve into better, then it's better to get it from our own than these cracker motherfuckers. Yeah, bro. Again, I listen, I'm not the most educated motherfucker on the planet. I'm not the smartest motherfucker in the room. Certainly there are those that are brighter than I, an Eric Dyson or a Cornel West. But, I didn't come from the very bottom of the barrel either. And like I said, mom, jazz blues singer, made me read, did her best to make sure that I was articulate, intelligent, and spoke in such a manner that was deserving of a pinky up when I drink my tea. And I just, with the stereotypes that exist about us, it just bothers me sometimes that somewhere in that cycle, someone is not helping them to be better. So I just get a little annoyed sometimes.
But white folks,
I love my people, man. I love my people, man.
But white folks out here talk like that too.
Yeah, but again, I don't want to get into a deep conversation about race because that's not what this is about. But the stigma is not the same for y'all as it is for us.
Okay.
So that's all Daddy means well. I mean well.
It was just some harsh punishment.
Yes, and I don't even think she caught it because I gave it back to her the way she gave it to me. So I'm sure that sounded quite normal to her. You know what I mean?
No. I get what you're saying, but no.
It's okay. But yeah, man, St. Louis, big shout out to y'all, man. The shows, especially, both shows Saturday were phenomenal. The first one was electric. I mean, it was that kind of laughter where when you hear it, you feel it. It goes to your body. And when it's like that, it is so much fun. But when it's like the show that was on Thursday, where a nigga had to be thrown out and he was so ignorant and so ghetto, he actually pulled a gun outside the showroom and was threatening to shoot motherfuckers. And his whole thing, long story short, I get on stage and everything I say, this nigga had to chime in. Like everything I said, this nigga had a joke to tell. And I want to say this to any people listening, if you are like this guy.
If you study comedy.
Yeah. But as he was being thrown out, he kept saying to me, but man, you my favorite comedian. I studied comedy. Well, nigga, like Andy told me, if I'm the professor, you're failing. Because if you study comedy, and if you are a fan of the art form, then you respect the art form, which means that if you are a funny person, if you have a funny bone in your body, if you're the funniest guy in your family, amongst your friends, your peers, at the cookout, at the reunion, at school, wherever, if you want to test your mettle, do the right thing. Come up with material, go to your open mic night, and that is your opportunity. I don't know where someone would think that the key to them being funny is to try to be funny during my show.
Because I told you what his intentions were. His inner intentions were that you would go, dude, you are funny, man.
Yes. You know what? That's like, you got, to those people like that, you have a fantasy in your head that you've worked out and you envisioned it. You've practiced it. You've been in the mirror and you say to yourself, man, this is my favorite comedian, which means that because he's my favorite comedian and I'm part funny and he's funny and his style is like my style, that means when I go disrupt his show by yelling out every other second when he says something, he gonna be like, yo, this nigga funny. Yo, man, where have you been? I've been doing this 31 years. Where have you been, nigga? TV, specials. You are the missing link. You're it. And every time I say something and you disrupt my flow and my show to chime in with your shit that's unprepared, unrehearsed, and off the cuff, nigga, you are bringing me to another level of my professionalism, of my comic craft. Nigga, the light, the heavens, the clouds have parted, the light, this is it. Stop it. We don't need you. You've never been there from day one. This is a solo sport. Come to the show and shut the fuck up.
Enjoy the show. Don't become the show.
Don't become the show. And listen, if the comedian wants to engage with you, trust me, they're doing it because they know what they're doing. And they figured out already how to use you to make the show work for their advantage. Not saying to humiliate you or hurt you. And sometimes, yeah, it might be to fuck with you a little bit depending on what you're wearing or, the way you look. But that's part of it too. But he's in control. Let the comic dictate that, not you. It's almost like if I'm driving and you're in the passenger seat or the back seat, I'm going to take us where we need to go. I don't need to be going, I'm about to jump on the freeway and you grab the wheel from behind me and go, nah, nigga, this way. Now we have chaos and anarchy, mayhem, and someone ends up in the hospital.
Not to take you away from your role right now, but you said like what you're wearing. Do you have a greatest moment of you or any comic that you ever seen who got someone in the audience for what they were wearing?
Too many to tell.
Nah, I got a number one.
Really? What?
Martin Lawrence with Big Bird when he pulled that.
Oh, on Def Jam.
When he pulled her out of the audience and brought her up.
Yeah.
And Big Bird. That was a moment because I didn't even see, you didn't see it coming. It was just, he saw it. He saved that up for that perfect moment. And again, to what you're saying, he didn't draw attention to it. He didn't do anything until he was ready to do that, get that moment, and he put it together.
Yes. Let him do that. These are professionals. We know what we're doing. Like me and we could be on stage and I've already scoured the crowd. And in my mind, I'm going, all right, the big fat bitch at 3:00 with that loud ass aluminum outfit on. All right, I'm going to use her, but I got to wait till the time is right. So the whole time I'm doing my set, talking. In the back of my mind, I'm going, wait for it. And when it all ends up and folds right in the universe and the stars align, use it. And then when you use it at that perfect time, got you. Prior to me using her, you had no idea I was going to use her. I knew, but I can't let you know that I know until it's time for me to let you know. It's all part of the mastery. So we know what we doing. And this nigga kept saying to me, and I love how they say to you, man, you my favorite comedian. But nigga, I love you. Like Patrice said, love me less. I'd rather you love me less and be able to be dealt with properly and etiquette than you love me so much, but you're out of control. Love me less. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings if you don't, if you love me less. But damn, ooh, that nigga was distraught.
Yeah, none of it's personal either, by the way.
None of it. I told you the best example I could give, and then I'll move on. A comedian and an audience is like a man and a woman having sex. It's our job to make the audience come, laugh. And in order to do that, your stroke game got to be right. So while we telling jokes, we in a rhythm, we stroking, our hips is moving, we in and out, we side to side. And the moment I'm getting ready to make that audience come, the minute you keep yelling out and you keep disrupting, you are fucking with my stroke. You are fucking with my rhythm. It's like you are kicking me literally out the pussy to tell me some stupid shit. Nigga, guess what I did today? Nigga, I'm fucking. My dick's hard. I'm in some pussy. This bitch is moaning. She's about to come and you're kicking me out of the pussy. You're fucking up my stroke. So don't fuck with our strokes, man. When our dicks is in the pussy, man, let us fuck, man. Let us finish. Don't fuck with our strokes.
But dude, that was Thursday. But Friday shows, you didn't see
spectacular.
Friday shows were good too.
Yes.
Really good. And then, but Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday was a monster. I'm scared about tonight, Sunday.
No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
I think Sunday going to feel like Thursday.
No, I don't think so.
It's the bookends. It's only proper.
I don't think anything's going to feel like Thursday. Unless Duke comes back.
If he comes back, I'm not going on. That nigga had a gun. Fuck that.
Over jokes.
I mean, click, clack. Over jokes.
That's a whole different meaning that you better be funny.
Oh, nigga, that is, that's doo-doo pants time, nigga. Before we were in for New Year's Eve, Florida, Miami, and you stayed out there.
Just a couple extra days,
days, and you said you went to South Beach, you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
You said you went to the Versace Mansion?
I went to the Versace Mansion.
Which is a hotel.
It's kind of like, I think like more of a bed and breakfast. I'm not sure because I didn't stay there. What it was $1,000 a night. So
wow.
I didn't know. I saw sometimes during the month it looked like it went down to 800, but most of the time it was like 1,000 to 1,200
I bet
a night.
You all the bed sheets smelled like Armenian men.
But
them Armenian niggas loved them Armenian and Middle Eastern niggas and niggas. Let me be real, ghetto niggas love them loud ass Versace shirts, which are atrocious to me.
No, some of them are cool, man.
Nah, man.
Dude, that Medusa logo is the logo. I mean, how no one else used that logo, I don't know.
Them loud gold-colored, gold and cream patterns. Like really loud niggas, like Floyd Mayweather type niggas, and Armenian dudes with slicked back black hair, and chest hair, and the chest exposed, and black shoes with no socks, and the whole bottle of cologne.
It's usually that Bijan. It's Bijan cologne.
Yeah,
it has that's a smell. But I was thinking too.
I smell like women don't have choice with me. That is the fragrance and the arrogance that we have when we wear the Versace shirts with the buttons down to the navel and the chest hair is black, oily, and Greek or fucking Armenian, and we got slick back black hair. We smell like females don't have say and matter.
Dude, there was a dude walking down the street, but he was severely overweight.
Yeah.
But his shirt was unbuttoned.
Yeah.
Just walking.
You can't tell them niggas they not sexy.
Dude, I wish I could be that comfortable with my body. If I look like that, I look like I do, and I would never do that.
But it's an arrogance from having money. That's what that is. I have $20 million on pinketing. When I slap woman, she gets wealthy. Yeah, could you not want to suck this cock? Come, I have my underwear is made of dollars.
Oh, man.
My balls smell like all the dead presidents.
There was an Instagram model. I don't know if it was an Instagram model, but it looked like she wanted to be an Instagram model, if nothing else. And she was wearing her 2001 Versace jumpsuit. Like,
yeah, man.
Spandex and jacket.
That Versace shit, I get it. It's expensive. But sometimes to me, expensive looks, gaudy does not look good to me. I don't care how much it costs.
I think if you're wearing something, like if you were wearing jeans or something just very clean pants-wise, simple shoes, and then you put that Versace shirt on, that doesn't bother me because that's...
You don't think it's too loud?
It's all in one place. No, because of what it is. But I like... as long as... If you're wearing head-to-toe Versace and you got the whole thing, all the color, that's a lot. But one piece, one shirt, no, that's fine. To me.
Our shirts are like Project Black women that are loud. They're like Project Black women that ride the bus with 14 children with no fathers that are just loud and aggressive. All right.
But you never been there? They have a restaurant there?
I've seen it. I've gone by it, but I've never ventured in.
I can't imagine though spending $1,200 for a room for the night. When Versace just got to walk around that place, the whole place, that was his place.
Yeah,
he's paying $1,200 to sample, like an ice. Like if you went to an ice cream place and they gave you a sample on that spoon, that's what your $1,200 is buying. It was a sample of his of how he lived. I don't get it, but the lunch there wasn't bad. The dinner's supposed to be better, but lunch was okay.
Okay, couple things we want to talk about. We teased you with it on the Miami episode when we were in Miami, New Year's, about the Action Park documentary. But before we get into that, I want to go, you kept telling me about Halloween, man. And I kept going, I got to download it. I finally downloaded Halloween, the latest one. I liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing.
But I thought it was great.
You know, it goes all the way back and you get another story.
Right.
But it's the same story.
Yeah, here's my only complaint. And this is where my man card may have to be in question. But this is, listen, you know, I love all the criteria to man food. But the one thing, no matter what it is, I can't take. I thought it was too brutal, man. The kills.
Really did.
Like Mike Myers, what was great about Mike Myers, which was scary about Mike Myers, was the simplicity of it. From the music, and before I make my point, let me just say, hands down, the simplicity. That doo-doo, 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 doo-doo is the scariest shit ever. Because it's something about, I don't know what it is. It's something about when it's night and the street looks deserted, and you just, when they put Michael Myers in the distance somewhere, like a creep staring at a bunch of teenage girls, like, and you just see him in that distance. Nothing but him, dark street, doo-doo, doo-doo. That scares me, dude. And when it came to his kills, a butcher knife, you stab you up, maybe slit your throat, that was enough. It feels like now, because it's 2022 and we're so advanced, the kills got to be over the top. Too much.
Well, because the storyline's the same. So what can you do to make it to differentiate it?
I don't know, but I say don't fuck with the formula.
They're not. They're just killing them a little bit. They're making the kills a little bit more exciting because that's...
you don't need to do that. That's not who Mike Myers was. It feels like they're changing him to match these times. Everything has to be more, bigger, badder, faster, louder. That's what they're doing. There was anything wrong with Mike. Keep it simple. If anything, let that be a test to how creative you can be, writing-wise.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but that's why it's like this. Dude, if you, as a kid, if the Ice Cream Man had that theme playing, would you get ice cream from that ice cream truck?
Probably not. Nah.
Wouldn't that be the coolest thing?
And ice cream is supposed to be a comforting, friendly, childish treat. A wonderful treat.
Everybody would stop what they were doing.
Jesus.
You just heard that.
What if the Ice Cream Man came at night, nigga, with that? And that was the music. Oh, man. And you never saw the Ice Cream Man's face. He just hid in the truck. And you'd tell him what you want, and his hand would just come out. But you'd hear that breathy Michael Myers under the mask breathing. Can I have an ice cream? What do they call that? Napoleon, the ice cream sandwich with the three flavors, chocolate, vanilla. Napoleon is not Neapolitan.
Neapolitan,
some shit like that.
Yeah.
Can I have the short historic man ice cream sandwich? Neapolitan, that's what it is. Can I have the Neapolitan ice cream sandwich? Give me the doo-doots.
I can't do it.
Or just go did it.
Did.
Just do that. Your rhythm as a white guy.
No, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
What can't you do?
That sound. I can do the did it.
Just keep doing
but it
that.
Doesn't just go did it.
No, it does. What's throwing you off is the breathing.
Okay.
It's the breathing and the did it. The timing as your white guy is totally fucked up.
Okay. Did it.
Is that not the creepiest shit ever?
Yeah, no, I think it would just be, that's what should come around your neighborhood, though, on Halloween, at least.
I say come at night, nigga.
On Halloween.
Just before it's time for kids to go to bed.
And it's an old ambulance, but it says ice cream.
Right. So, yeah, I liked it, man. I thought it was great. It was weird seeing Mike McDonald in that.
Yeah. See, now, when you get into that part was weird because people were, there was some anger from the LGBT community about that scene.
Right.
And I thought it was an honest scene. What is because Mike Myers killed a gay couple? Mike Myers has killed everybody from day forward.
Yeah. Well, it's still like, your turn.
Well, if you didn't kill the gay couple, now are they being, I'm not being funny when I say this. If you're in a Michael Myers Halloween movie and you're a couple and you're in the scene and they don't kill you.
Yes.
What would that be?
Right.
That is the most acceptance you can have, is to be killed in the Michael Myers Halloween movie.
Now, let me ask you this, though. Would it have been an insulting thing or a thing of they're really acknowledging us as equals as a gay couple being killed? Would it have been insulting if, like, let's say one of the kills to the gay dudes was the butcher knife in his ass as he's bent over?
Yeah, I think that they might have had something to complain about that.
Okay.
Yeah, but to your point, which was funny, they didn't do that.
Right.
It's not like Michael Myers came in there with the dildo and just started beating them to death.
That's funny too. That's funny too.
But it was just authentic Michael Myers, and they included a gay couple, which to me is that means, I'm not saying it means acceptance. This is an acceptable
Let me tell you
couple.
something. I don't know that if I'm gay, I'm upset with being killed with dildo. And you're talking about matching bigger, better times, being ahead with the times. If I'm gay and I'm killed where I'm bent over the stairs and the dildo is jammed in my ass and I'm dead from over jammage, that almost is a compliment, no?
I don't think that Michael Myers would be keeping up on your sexuality as a couple to come in and go, oh, you know what? Let me go get my dildo collection so I can wipe these guys out. And again, they didn't do that. They killed
they did. That's almost an homage to homosexuality. Like, welcome to the team, guys.
There's your moment in one of those Scream, not Scream when they do the parody of it.
Right.
That's what you should do. You should do your parody.
Okay.
And then you could say, and then you could even put on there explicit. We wanted to do this,
right? Because
in Halloween it wasn't acceptable the way that they were killed, so we're going to kill them this way,
right? What if, Mike Myers doesn't talk, but what if he's stabbing the guy with the dildo in the ass, and at one point he stops, he pulls it out, and he looks at it, he goes, "It's got doo-doo on it."
You can do your
doo-doo.
Doo-doo.
Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Doo-doo.
See, I can't do that. I don't have
that part.
I don't have I'm tone deaf.
Right. All right.
I've got everything, dude. I should.
Mike McDonald. It was weird to see him because I just, no one having him worked with him. What'd you think of his acting?
I thought it was fine for that. For what that was. It's, I honestly, the whole setup of the movie. I mean, it was a better mousetrap for what they did, but it was still a Halloween movie. It was exactly what you're supposed to get from a Halloween movie. There's no. They try to fool you. They're trying to fool you. You go through the whole movie, but at the end, when he's like, he's never can be killed. Never can be killed. He's going to come back no matter what.
Last question, and then that's what I wanted to know. Did they leave it open for yet some more?
Yeah, it's always open for more because if he can't die.
Like he literally, when they ganged up on him, they couldn't kill him. So he's officially indestructible.
Undead. Not possible to kill.
So is he human?
Well, can they, the only way that they can come back now, I think, is that they dismember him. And then they'd have to put pieces in separate places so that he can never come back together.
Right.
And then the story would be someone wants to put him back together to see if he could come alive, and then they put him back together. And
that's when it starts getting silly.
Well, it's like it's not silly now.
Well, no.
That's why I disagree with you about the gore, because these movies are made for the gore. That's the only reason. You know what's going to happen in every one of these.
All right.
It was good to see Jamie Lee Curtis back in it's always fun to see her. It's funny to see her act in that movie because she still has to, she's probably one of the most believable people that when she's acting in it, like she actually brings the back from her original time.
She has officially become I'm trying to think of a comparison where you can't have one without the other. Nemesis.
Yeah.
She's his nemesis.
Right.
They're peanut butter and jelly. They go together.
Well, then they said it wasn't in the movie. Didn't they say he didn't come back for her? He was coming back to the house. He wanted to go back to the house.
He wanted to go back home.
And
he had a couple of queers in here. A couple of queers in his house here.
See, but I really like that you're doing this and that you're playing that side up, because to me that's funny, because it's exactly what they didn't do in the movie. And again, as I have said, and they still and the community complained.
Yeah, nobody's happy.
So I don't get how that, if he would have just ran out going, wah, and he would have been like, like the stereotype flamboyantly gay can't take it. They fought back. They did everything they were supposed to do.
Yeah. And they didn't play. And here's the thing. This was so crazy. What you just said. They didn't play it. It's raining, man. Over the top flamboyant. But even if they did, they don't exist. That's not real.
No,
the gay flamboyant over the top men exist. So it would be one of those, you're gonna complain either way.
Right.
If they play it respectfully, you got a gripe. If they play it stereotypically over the top, which is a reality, you're gonna complain. Nobody's happy.
But see, and fuck, I know that this is going to go. I'm anytime you take a minority group in any situation, there's always going to be complaints. And I don't even think it has to be a minority group, but anytime, especially when it's being produced by someone who's not part of that minority,
right.
there's going to get complaints. Because then I go back to our last episode with Sesame Street, right?
Right.
And then we had Roosevelt Franklin.
Yeah.
And there was still, because you can't make everyone in that group happy.
Right.
And that's just where we are. So you got to take it for what it's worth. And you got to go, if you're not trying to offend anybody and you're doing what you feel is right in any form, and then you have to move forward in that. I don't think that you can actually try to appease everyone.
It's amazing. When you don't have it, you complain to be heard. And then once you get it, you complain because you want to be heard. It's ridiculous. All right. Something else that I want to say real quick. People have been writing into us a couple times saying, yo, y'all got to check out this Showtime series, Yellow Jackets. I'm going to tell you right now, I downloaded the whole first season. I'm out. I watched the first 2 episodes. I'm out. I don't know if you know what it's about. I don't know if you checked it out. Long story short, this all-female girls soccer team, they're in the finals of the Nationals. They have to fly to where they're going to go for the big game. Their plane goes down. They're trapped in this mountainous, cold, winter-like area. I don't know if it was for 19 years or 19 months. One or the other. Eventually, they get rescued, and I think it was whatever it is. But now they're grown women. But they cut back to obviously what they experienced in these woods in this cold. And in the first pilot episode, they established where they got this weird cult thing they're into where they wear these big fur outfits with weird looking masks, and they're all sitting around a bonfire, and there's like rituals and sacrifices. And they show one lady in the first pilot episode upside down. She gets slit open, blood falls on the snow. And they didn't make it clear, but I think they left it open to assumption. They gut her out, barbecue some of her flesh or whatever. And at one point, they bring it, one of the cult leaders brings it on a wooden slab, just chunks of meat, and they all start eating from it. Let me put that aside for a second. The one girl on the soccer team, they had a weak link, and all the girls were talking about how they thought she was a weak link. So the black girl on the team during a game decides to fuck her up so that they take her away from being in the Nationals because they think she'll be the reason they lose. She does some sort of move where she fucks the girl up so bad she has a compound fracture. And they showed bone sticking out the knee. All right? But then here's the part where I said, I'm out. When the plane goes down and, they cut to the wreckage, one girl's impaled, the part of the plane's on fire, it's about to blow up. One girl's trapped in a seat, says, help, help. The girl tries to help her. They can't. They got to leave because it's about to explode. So they get outside the plane, and the coach of the team, the male coach, is laying on the ground, and part of the wing is on top of his leg. So he's going, girls, get me, help, help. They all come together, lift the wing, pull the coach out. The weight of the wing was so smashed into his leg from the kneecap down, it was mashed potato. His leg was mush. So he has the one girl come over with an axe. Whop! She lops off that part of the leg. The blood splashes on her face. Here's why I said, I'm done. When they pull the coach out, the way his thigh separates from his knee, I'm not watching this series. told y'all I don't do blood and gore well, which is why I was saying about Halloween. Come on, man. It's unnecessary. And when they showed the bone out the knee, first of all, the girl upside down slit, the eating of the flesh. I said, oh, okay. I'm going to have my hang on the meat because people say this is really good. And the previews are great. Strike one. The bone out the knee. Strike fucking two. The mush of the leg? I'm not doing it, yo.
I got to see it because I heard it was really good. I haven't seen it, but like as soon as you told me when the compound fracture, dude, and I said this on the podcast before, if I would have saw that and known that you were going to watch it, I would have said, call me after, and I would have said because it's just so funny to me. I know that you can't watch that. And I said, this is what I said on the podcast before. Aries opened up, we ordered some wings. Aries opened up a wing, and there it is. And the wing is the one of the bones is sticking out of the skin of the wing. And Aries just shuts the box really quickly, turns the box around, looks at me, goes, can you do me a favor? I said, what? And he opens up the box. He goes, take that wing, the one with the broken bone. Can you just take that out of my body? He can't even look at it to touch it. He would throw the whole thing away before he'd grab that wing.
Let me tell you something, dude. I have to be careful because I get so immediately fucked up over shit like this. I don't want to put myself in, positions where I can get in trouble. When I was watching this movie on the plane, the lady next to me, I did it twice. If I'm conscious of it, I go, don't do it. But this shit fucks me up so bad. Twice I went, Jesus! And she started looking at what I was looking at, and a couple of people looked around, and I don't want to be the guy that caused the commotion to have them do an emergency landing, and I leave the terminal in cuffs. But dude, I went, Jesus! And I turned away, and I can't, man. I can't.
Did you tell the lady what you were watching at least?
No, she started watching, she can't hear the sound. I got the headphone. But she started watching and was like, what the fuck? And I literally turned my head up to 11 o'clock and went, Jesus! And I can't do it, man.
Did you close it after that? Or was that done? Did you try?
Jesus came during the bone compound fracture. And then the second one was, I went, oh my God, was the mush of the leg. I turned it off after that. I'm not going to watch this series, man. I'm out.
I have to check it out, but I think that's, if someone would have just said, they should put a warning, compound fracture. That's all you need, I think, to be out.
And dude, if you watch it, and I know that shit don't bother you. If you watch it and you later really watch at least the first season and you get deeper, if you call me and tell me, yo, that was it, the rest is tame, or it's really worth watching, I'll get back on. But unless you tell me something, I'm out. Dude, listen, big dick shots to the camera and bones out. I don't do those. Put your cock away. You know what I mean? You can't hit me unsuspectedly, unbeknownst, with male cock meat in the whole frame or broken bones. And I'm not with it. I'm out. That's why I stopped watching that show, Gangs of London. And that's why I stopped watching Yellow Jacket, nigga. That's why I draw the line. Cocks and bones. Don't do it. I can't do it, man.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny to me, but I'll check it out. Is that all you got on it?
That's all I got.
Just so you wouldn't be able to go to butchery school. You couldn't be a butcher.
No. No.
When you go to the market, right, and you get those cases with all the beef cut up and everything, does that bother you when you see the bone in it?
No. Finished product. Show me finished product.
Then you're okay.
Yeah, but the stages of the head still on, we slicing off body parts of the animal. If I had to see, like they say, if you knew how a hot dog was made, if you saw from the moment the chickens with the fur and the beaks went from that to the finished product in the plastic case that you buy out the meat section of the grocery store, anything prior to that, I can't handle it.
So on Thanksgiving, if someone snapped off the turkey leg, and you heard that sound, is that done? Is
and let me tell
done?
you why I don't eat turkey like that. No. To see that leg be pulled off that bird? No. Now, I will eat a turkey leg from Universal Studios because it's already pulled off. It looks finished. But the part where you on turkey Thanksgiving dinner, because you're the man of the house, you get the leg. Rip. Nah, son. When I eat turkey now, I buy the Butterball boneless turkey breast with the net around it. No bone. The tenderest meat ever. Nah, no. Mm-mm.
All right.
Yeah.
What else you got in there?
That's it on that.
Someone, I was just recently informed, I should have been paying attention, but we have to go back and I got to ask if you will watch it. Cobra Kai.
I know that's back.
Yeah.
Nah, there was a dude on a plane next to me watching it. That show does nothing for me.
I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, I know you and Neri like that shit. That shit don't do nothing for me.
It's a funny blast from the past. It's funny.
Okay, Action Park. We told y'all this was a great fucking documentary.
About something that could never happen today.
Never happen again. And again, I called this when it was around, the moment in time for what it was, the dangerous grand opening, grand closing, Action Park. It was the Studio 54 of water parks. It was a moment in time. People died. It was a great time when it was, and it came and went. There's this guy that they interview. His name is Chris Gethard. Last name is Gethard. First name is Chris.
And he's not a porno guy?
No.
He's a real...
That's a real geeky looking.
Don't you think, though, that you'd if your last name was Gethard, that you'd have to at least test out the waters to see if you could be a porno dude?
I don't know, but your dick better be huge. Your last name, your dick better be right, nigga. Because you can't be called Chris Gethard and have ED.
Unless your first name is Small Gethard. He's just a stunt dick. He just comes in.
Small Gethard. Damn.
He just comes in, hits it real quick, walks out.
He says, that's the way we grew up. Safe, nope, but that's how we grew up. So fuck you. Dude, again, I know y'all have heard us talk about the 80s. Some of y'all might even be sick of it. But again, if you grew up in that time, you know what we're talking about. It's where it tested your mettle. It's where you were strong. At one point, I think Chris or somebody else said, in the 80s, we used to go to an abandoned mental hospital, and we would dare each other who could go in there and at night and go through all the rooms and stay in there. One guy, other guy said, yeah, man, we would take our bikes. And I remember doing this, ride across 4 towns over to go hang out with your friend. No social media. You didn't call, he didn't know you were coming until you called him and said, yo, I'm coming. We would stay at his house till night, come home at night. And your parents didn't even know where you were. They just knew you went outside. Mom, I'm going out. And you didn't come back till night. And they had no idea what you did all day. And I think, I forget the way he coined it. He said, I know I have it written down. He said something to the extent of, when the chick goes, being an 80s kid meant we tried to die for fun. Like, there's so much truth in that.
Well, I'm older than you, so I actually got the 70s and the 80s. And the precursor to that is Evel Knievel.
Right.
And so every kid, like when I was growing up, every kid took their bike out, and we took everything off the bike, because
the safety shit.
Well, there was no safety really shit on the bike, but we took off the fenders. We got our bike as light as we could.
Right.
And we just rode as fast as we could over these ramps that we made out of tires and plywood, and then we line up garbage cans, and you'd see who could go the furthest.
Right.
And eventually someone found out they couldn't go that far. But there's broken bones. There's a bunch of shit that's happening, and we did it. I grew up in Arizona. We did it in the canals. We did it in the washes. And my neighborhood was in was at the. It was when I was growing up in Tucson. The neighborhood was the areas of residential was expanding. My house, between my house and the Air Force Base, it was all desert. And my parents just told me, when the street lights come on, we'd go out into the desert all day, riding our bikes, doing whatever we did, finding dead animals, finding live snakes, doing whatever it was. No one said shit.
Dude, we used to steal plywood and certain materials from construction sites when they were shut down and drag the wood pieces in the woods and build forts.
Yeah.
I just, and this is why I go to some people who don't get it. All of this adds up. It's all a process that when you have the mentality and you play like this and you're rough and tough, you skin your knee, you get the wind knocked out of you. It's building character. It's building toughness so that when you become an adult, certain shit don't bother you, like words, feelings. These kids today grow up so pussified. This is the reason why everybody gets a 9th place trophy. This is the reason why you can't say this and you can't say that. Oh, these kids grow up with no medal.
Right. I can't advocate for some of the things that my dad, he put me through. But I remember coming home crying because the dude across the street hit me. And he said, "What did you do?"
Your dad said that.
Yeah. He said, "I came home." You came home crying? He goes, "You got 2 options. You can go and you can defend yourself, go back over there and defend yourself, or I'm going to give you a spanking. I'm going to spank you worse than he's going to hurt you." And I had to march back over across the street, hit him, get in a fight, still took a beating, but defended myself, never got fucked with by that guy again.
Right.
And then came back home.
Let me tell you what I used to do. If a kid wanted to fight me in my neighborhood that I grew up in, 303 Birchwood Court, North Brunswick Manor. And this is where, when I moved from New York to New Jersey, this is where I met all my friends in North Brunswick. We all lived in this community. And there was this kid named Roberto Cartagena, him and his brother Hector. And Hector went on to become a cop in, what's that part of New York? Starts with an R. You know what I'm talking about? It's not Rose. Fuck. Rock something. Not Rockefeller. Some part of New York that starts with an R. But he was a cop out there. And I remember when I had to go perform out there, this is when he hit me up on, at that time, MySpace. It was like, "Dude, I'm a cop." We hung out, whatever. But Roberto, to this day, he's getting a weight bodybuilder now. But I remember Roberto, he used to stutter. And I was fucking with him because he stuttered and he wanted to fight me. And he lived right around the corner from me, but where we were playing at the park was a little ways from my house. So I was backpedaling home as he was coming towards me, because if I turned my back and I ran, I wanted to see what he was going to do. But anyway, I wanted to fight right in front of my house because my mother would come out, and my mother gave me strength. I felt brave around my mom. So we finally get towards my house. My mother hears the commotion. She comes outside. She's like, "Avery, you better whoop his ass." So we started fighting. I remember I had pinned him against the concrete steps that took you up to my door, and I headbutted him. And he split the back of his head open from me headbutting him and his head hitting the concrete. And there was just a small puddle of blood on them steps. I never watched them steps. That was the proudest I had ever been. I would have people come over and go, "Look, that's Roberto blood right there. I headbutt that motherfucker, yo. That's his blood." I don't know, man. The 80s was just a special time. Now let me get to Action Park.
Well, but it all leads to this because you couldn't have Action Park, like you said, without all this.
You couldn't. And let me tell you something. One of the things they talked about was there was no adult supervision. All the people that worked there were teenagers, big red flags, and it would be a lot of fights. And they served beer and shit at the park. So, you just had mayhem. And I wrote, dude, there was nothing more dangerous in the 80s than a white kid from Jersey with mullets, cut off jeans, 2 socks up to the knees, and beer. And they talked about certain some of the I don't want to say rides. Rides is a water park, but yeah, some of the things you could do. One was called the Tarzan Swing, where you would swing and then drop off into Arctic cold water. And a lot of the kids would go into shock. And the guy goes, and when there were a lot of kids who would get up on the swing, and when they would swing out, of course, the minute they released the bar, they would pull their pants down, show their dick and their nuts. They would moon you. Some people put the fucking finger up. And if you didn't do anything cool, they would heckle you. Fucking pussy. Yeah, you fucking fag. And I went, now again, as an adult, as a sensible adult, you don't promote any of this. But this is teenage shit. This is kid shit. And again, that's why I'm saying, to be heckled, called a pussy, a fag, because you didn't whip your dick out on the release of the swing. It was just, to me, that's funny to me. It just it made you. I don't see the harm in it. Even as an adult, kids are going to be kids anyway. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, there's no harm in it. But see, this is where the two sides come together. There's no harm in it, but the word choice, I get it. And I'm not saying that I didn't understand it back then and I didn't partake in it back then.
Right.
I did. But to grow as a human, it would be nice if you didn't do something that demeaned someone else's lifestyle. So calling someone a fag because they didn't do something that was considered to be cool demeans those people. So I understand maybe we could have both. Maybe people could call someone a name that wasn't about a different lifestyle, and you could make fun of them at the same time, and we could get somewhere. I would go for that society if we could have that one today.
What's a kinder, gentler name to call someone?
I don't know, man.
And I'm not even saying let's go for the fag thing.
Weak ass. I don't know.
Weak ass don't have the same panache to it.
No, I'm not saying that we got to.
Pussy has a punch to it.
Pussy is. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good one, and we can apparently use it somewhat today. I'm just saying. I get. We did all that. Right. I also get that we made other people uncomfortable who weren't comfortable saying who they were.
Right.
So today it would be nice as we grow if people were able to let out their inner teen and go ahead and put themselves in doing some fun things. I mean, I know I don't want my kids to get hurt and die. I don't. I never have. Obviously, that's not anything I want. I don't want them to do some of the dumb things I did. But man, what you're saying is so true. There's just something to extending what taking yourself out of your comfortability.
Right.
Because if you stay comfortable all the time, you don't challenge yourself, and you need that.
You know what? Listen. Yes, anything that you don't want your kid to be severely hurt or certainly die. But you should be able to take a little bit of a pounding. You should have the wind knocked out of you.
Yeah.
It also makes you cautious and maybe smart a little bit.
Yeah, because that's how you know when enough is enough. When you went, but you don't know when enough is enough until you cross that line. Then you go, well, I'm not going to go past that line again. That's kind of the. I mean, we're in a very. Let's go back to the documentary.
Like they one of the first rides they talked about, and I got to bring up the guy, the brainchild, Eugene Mulvihill. Before I ask this question, and I think it kind of answers itself, one of the first rides that they did, and in describing Eugene, he didn't want to put the right people in the right positions to do the right thing, to make sure that the park was run the right way. He took a lot of shortcuts. One of the rides, the Cannonball Loop, was basically you go down this tube. It does a complete circle, which would put you upside down and shoot you out the other end. He didn't have the right padding. He didn't have the right engineers. So at first they said he was throwing test dummies, whole body test dummies down the tube, and they would come out dismembered. the heads were off. That should have been a warning sign that we need to make sure this is right. But then his second, when he decided it was time for the human phase of it, he would offer these kids $100 to go down this tube. And, you know, as a teenager, 13, 14, that's a lot of money.
$100 in the 80s?
In the 80s, a lot of money. I remember we used to go, like I said, ride our bikes from the Manor to Nino's Pizza. If we had $20, $20 in the 80s could get you a whole pie. And we'd get a pie, a thing of sodas, have enough left over to go to 7-Eleven and get candy. So the kids would do it. And when they would come out on the other end, abrasions, bruises, a couple teeth stuck in the padding, because when they would do the loop, gravity took over. And they would slam down on the tube and lose teeth. And it made me go, ask this question. Because Eugene did this with most of the rides.
Yeah, they didn't have engineers really.
They didn't have they had guys, and I like how they described it. They had guys who Disneyland and Orlando had rejected.
Right.
And wouldn't touch. And they would come up with these crazy rides. And they said Eugene would not only approve them, but halfway through the construction, he would make changes. So these are just unqualified people putting together shit that could fuck you up.
Yeah, but there wasn't engineers. Yeah, they had them at Disney, but engineers for water parks. Water parks are still new. They haven't been built. So he's dreaming all this shit up out of his head.
Right.
This is and like you said, testing it with dummies, not doing mathematical equations to figure out how this is going to work.
But even still, though, for the water park, you still could hire the right people.
You could hire the right people and the right people to build it the correct way. But isn't that the ride where they said people were starting to complain because they were coming out and they were getting scratches?
That was a different ride.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a different ride. That was a different ride where, you would go through and a couple of pieces of the inside of the tunnel that you would travel in, because of the way it was constructed, would have jagged edges that people would scrape themselves on.
But wasn't it, they found out later, was teeth that they were scraping themselves on?
The teeth was the Cannonball Loop.
Oh, the Cannonball. But that's when they also said that they had to tear that apart because people were getting...
Yes, right. There was a hatch door on the top of the loop that they had to, because people, when they would go through the circle, would slam down and wouldn't come out. They'd get stuck. So they had to bring them out. Do you know, it's so scary because it was like this thing was open before it was tested properly.
Well, it didn't stay open. It was never...
It stayed open.
Yeah.
So my question to you is this, because they even said he wouldn't take out real insurance. He formed a fake insurance company just to avoid having to pay for the accidents. Was Eugene Mulvihill just an awful piece of shit? Because my question is, and I know that in the business world, people sometimes want to take shortcuts. They want to spend as little as possible and get the most for that little bit of money spent. Can't you spend the necessary money, even if it hits your wallets hard, with the belief that the better the product, you're going to get all that back?
Yeah.
Why are you taking shortcuts?
But for whatever reason, and again, back then, and in the 80s, it had already started to turn this way. But remember, and this is a long time ago, lawyers didn't advertise on TV. They didn't advertise on billboards. You didn't sue someone because you fell down because you were walking on up to their house and you slipped. You didn't sue them. He was from that time. And, he was just trying to get away with what he was getting away with. I feel bad for the people that did get hurt there, obviously. But when you say, was he a bad person? I think he was misguided, definitely. When someone eventually dies at your water park, I think you could say you're a bad person. But hundreds of thousands of people had a good time there, and they would probably say, no, he brought something here that no one else would have done without it. But at the end of the day, to the people that are hurt, yeah, he was a bad person. He should have taken care of the people that got hurt there.
Dude, one of the things that scared the shit out of me was they talked about the one slide that they had where you would slide down, and if you got enough momentum, you would float in the air for a second before you hit the next level of slide as you worked your way down from the top of the mountain down. And the guy goes, yeah, but there was this one kid. I don't know how he did it. He got so much momentum that when he jumped in the air, he stayed there. And he overshot the landing. And he hit the ground and had to be airlifted to the hospital. Wow.
But they didn't
to be suspended in air where you have no control. And you see yourself going, I'm passing the landing zone. Woo.
Well, but yeah, because they weren't ever tested. They didn't, like, no engineers. If someone was too light and they could, but heavy enough to build up speed,
right,
which was his case,
right?
Yeah, you're going sailing.
Woo!
But they, how about the what was the ride that they made? He made a ride, and it wasn't water. It wasn't water. It was that cement structure that kind of weaved all throughout.
That with the not go-karts,
but like a cart, yeah,
like a cart. Let me see.
And someone fucked themselves up on that.
No, someone died.
That's the one they died.
That's the kid that died.
Yeah.
Hold on. The Alpine slide. Because it was like, the luge.
Yeah.
Almost like a luge, but it was fiberglass and concrete.
Yeah.
So
with rocks all on the side because they didn't clear the mountain path.
Right. And they said that with the speeds you were going, if you didn't adjust your body weight or hit that brake at the right time, you go flying off the fucking the slide and skid on concrete. And then they said they would take you to that infirmary where they sprayed you with a mixture of iodine and alcohol. And they had a circle on the floor. And they said they would give you a souvenir if when they sprayed you, you stayed in that circle. What the fuck? Like, hire the right people, for God's sakes. Even if you mean well, you gotta know. Just hire the right people.
But, yes. But they're now going to the parents, and this is where you talked about in the 80s, how our parents just let us run wild.
Right.
This is on the news that people have died at this park, and that people have gotten injured, that people have gotten hurt, and the parents are still loading up the car and going to Action Park.
Well, that's the thought of if it didn't happen to me,
then
it doesn't happen.
Because I called my girl. Well, my girl and I watched this together,
right?
And she said that she had been there. Her and her brother went there, but when they were younger, so they weren't going on the really crazy rides. But I called everyone I knew from Jersey at that time in Action Park. And they're like, yeah, man, that was the...
Let me tell you, man, and I would imagine from the mentality of a teenager, of a kid who wants to have fun, it's summertime, your choices are either Action Park or stay at home. And like Studio 54, when someplace is the buzz, you don't want to be left out. So even if you heard the stories, I think your first belief is, ain't gonna happen to me. And then how could you not? Your friends are going, it's being talked about. You're seeing the commercials on TV. You don't want to be left out of that.
No, you gotta go.
And then what looked so cool was, again, at that time, there was nothing like it. Dude, I'm like, yo, you could get in your own speed go-karts. You could get in a speedboat, nigga. A speedboat. To this day, I don't think there's a water park where you can ride your own speedboat. And they said, yo, yeah, the cars, people would figure out a way how to unlock or
take off the governor, the speed control.
The speed control, and you're going 60 miles an hour in a fucking go-kart. The one lady said in the speedboats, one kid, when it was time, you got 3 laps around. When the one kid would dock the boat, this other kid was going so fast, he didn't even try to stop. His boat jumped on top of the other guy's boat, and the one kid who was underneath the boat had his head mushed down, and she thought he was decapitated by the propeller. Mayhem. Another cool ride was the one where you could ride in your own tank and shoot tennis balls. And they said the one kid would put gasoline on his tennis balls and shoot fireballs out of the tank. Who is watching these motherfuckers, man? Where do you get gasoline from to do that?
They did kick people out of the park. They did try, but I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying they did. That's why there's all these rules and regulations now, because of stuff like this.
Where do you get gasoline to douse your tennis balls?
Dude, these especially these South Jersey kids. South Jersey, people don't understand. Jersey's a big city. I mean, big state. And there's a lot of different areas in Jersey. Nah, man.
That's what I'm telling you, man. Them white boys with them mullets and them cut off jeans with beer, them was some of the most dangerous motherfuckers in the tri-state area. Yeah, it was Cannonball Loop. Oh, no. I did Cannonball Loop. Yeah, the ski lift that they would take you on to get to the top of the Alpine slide so you could slide down. I wonder why these geniuses, they would give you your slide on the ski lift with you to take up and come down. And they said that people, South Jersey, would purposely knock their slides off the ski lift so that it could fall and hit the sliders underneath that would get hit with the rod. I'm going, why not just hold the slides till you get to the top and give them to you? Like, they gave kids control that they should never have. That's too much responsibility for a teenager.
Have you known about Action Park?
Yes. Yeah, dude.
Would have you dropped one of those ski slide poles on someone walking by?
No, I wouldn't have dared done nothing like that. My mother would have murdered me if I got in trouble for some shit like that. But I again, this is what was so dangerous about that park. Until it happened to you, you didn't care about that.
Yeah.
So I would have went, but then if it would have happened to me, I wouldn't have went a second time. Like, you know, they were talking about that one thing where people would jump off the side of the rock and into the water, and there was no supervisor to tell the people that were in the water, okay, move out of the way. So some people would just chill in the spot they were in, motherfucker jump off the top of the cliff and land on top of you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
See, some of this stuff, like with the trampoline parks that are all over the place now, a lot of stuff like that goes wrong, though, at the trampoline parks here. The first one that opened up in Arizona by where my kids were going to school, this dude, I guess, he's out there with a bunch of people. They're all playing. Everybody's having a good time. Right. He does this jump and this flip, and for whatever size, his weight, the speed that he was able to get, his height, the foam pit that he did the flip into wasn't deep enough. And he hit his head, and it actually, I think it paralyzed him, and he died there because he wasn't able to get out, and no one really knew what happened because everybody's playing, and he's underneath this the foam pieces. Right. And so it still happens. I mean, it's not like all the precautions we take and everything that happens now, it doesn't go away, and there's people monitoring that place, but he was under the foam.
Dude, I went to a water park one time at Six Flags, Valencia. When you go out to Valencia, California, they have the Six Flags, and then they have the water park next door. I'd never been to a water park, but I went, and it's one of the coolest, most fun things to do. And they had a wave pool, just like Action Park had a wave pool. And finally, I think what was Action Park's demise was 4 people died in the wave pool consecutively. And I don't know if you've ever done a wave pool, but there's the shallow end, and of course, there's the very deep end. But when they do the thing where they cause the waves, and they were like at Action Park, Eugene Mulvihill's son said that a kid would ask him, hey, how deep is this water? And as he goes to explain to him, kid just jumps in. And they used to put bans on people called CFS, can't fucking swim. That means you had to be rescued more than once. So people were getting these wave pools. They go, when that wave pool is at the height of its action in the deep end, I've seen family members pull each other down because they couldn't handle the wave, and you start panicking and you start pulling whoever's next to you down so that you don't drown. That is a death pool. And I'm going, how did they not have adults there where if you couldn't swim, you weren't allowed in there?
Yeah, no, you shouldn't have been allowed in any of the pools if you can't swim. That's what the kiddie pools were for. Yeah, man, it's but the documentary gives you a little bit more in why it was there, how it was there. Man, it was. I saw that. I watched that thing twice because when I saw that, I was like, this is crazy.
They had the one kayak experience, and they had electrical fans that would make the water do what it needed to do so you could ride the kayak. And I'm going, water, electricity. What could go wrong? And of course, someone died. And I found it interesting, even when they said that Eugene Mulvihill, I forget the guy's name, who worked on Wall Street, who would finance his projects. But at one point, he was hoping that Donald Trump would get involved. And Donald checked it out and went, nah. And it was like, for Donald Trump to turn you down with something that could be profitable, is a bad sign. And I'm just going, dude, if that guy, Eugene Mulvihill, did it right, didn't cut corners, and could get a Donald Trump to back it, that thing would probably still be around today and be the biggest attraction in the world. In terms of, nothing's going to beat Disneyland. Disneyland is the bully on the block. But you'd gave it a run for its money.
But Disneyland also, that being said, has the safer of all the rides. It's the.
But it didn't seem as exciting.
No.
And I'm thinking if Eugene Mulvihill played his cards right, when I say Action Park could have been so huge to the point where it was like, no, not just people from Jersey. People are flying in from all over the world to go there. Because it's like, dude, tanks that shoot tennis balls, speedboats, go-karts.
Yeah, if I knew about it, I would have wanted to. Yeah. I would have wanted to have gone.
And the money and the revenue it could have bought that little Jersey town.
Yeah.
So I just, don't cut corners, kids. In the long run, do the right thing. It's like you got to spend money to make money. But if you spend the right money, you're going to get back 10 times what you invest. That's the ideology. That's the.
Yeah, but that wasn't the 80s, man. That wasn't the 80s.
Oh.
Woo. So if your kid came to you and said they wanted to go to a water park, you send them to the water park?
If as an adult, I'm hearing what I'm hearing, hell no. Or I got to go with them to supervise. But on their own, hell no.
No, I wouldn't let my kids go there. I'd be so nervous the whole day if they went there.
Are you kidding me? Oh, hell no. That's it.
That's the show.
While I pull this up, any announcements?
Just where we're going to be.
Well, next week we're going to be in Giannis Akatikatempo territory. I do not know how to say his last name.
Giannis.
No, but the last name.
No, I just say Giannis.
Oh, Giannis. You just say Giannis.
Yeah, he's Prince. He's Madonna.
He's Giannis.
He's Giannis. We're going to be at that Milwaukee Improv, brand new improv.
First time.
Yep. Excited. We'll be out there the 13th through the 16th. And following that week, we'll be at the Cleveland Improv. Aries, do you need anything? The 21st through the 23rd.
Oh, boy.
And then on the 28th and 29th, Aries will be at the Denver Improv. And I will be back at Helium in the garage working out my hour for this album recording we're doing. So come check me out over there. Tickets are cheap. If you're listening to our podcast and you want to get some tickets, I probably can hook you up. So let me know. You got anything?
No. As always, Patreon Spearsburg Pod, Twitter Spearsburg Pod, Instagram Spearsburg Pod, YouTube Spearsburg Pod, MySpace Spearsburg Pod. We ain't on MySpace. Is MySpace even around?
Yeah, it still exists. A lot of music people use it, and we do have a.
Do we really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, my bad.
We I don't think we use it. I think we just got it so no one else could
fuck with it
and make us look even more fucked up than we did.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. I'll give other show dates later.
All right. Mike James Music LLC, Facebook MICKJAMES Music, Twitter me, Mike James, MEMICKJAMES. Instagram, MICKJAMES 419. I do not know the name of this track, but here it be. Enjoy. Is you a singer? Yes, I is.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, well, it was hosted by Ari Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Klein-Smith for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit www.spearsburgpod.com.